Tesla was on its way to new all-time highs until it reported deliveries and then down it went. But if we look at the history of this stock, specifically in October, we can see why this is happening. And the deliveries event was a typical buy the rumor, sell the news. So where do we head from here? Find out in today's video.
Tick by tick, the rhythm's
All right,
wild.
everyone, let's take a look at Tesla here. And we had a big run up here in the last few weeks. You could see that starting on September 11th, this thing just put in a nice massive candle, and we ran up to a high today of, okay, so we can see here that on September 11th, Tesla put in a massive candle, and this was on the news that Elon Musk had bought several shares of Tesla, showing his confidence in the company. And from then until the high of today, we ran $120.73, a 34.55% increase. But you could see today, at the time that I'm recording this, we are selling down. And you may be asking, why is this happening? Today, Tesla reported deliveries. And while they weren't bad, they were actually good because people were front running, getting that EV credit that is going to be phased out. It was a typical buy the rumor, sell the news event. And you can see we are getting this massive bearish engulfing candle that completely wiped out yesterday's gains. And right now we are down a total, if we measure this out from the top of this candle to the base, $28.88. So anybody who was chasing this thing, who got in at the highs, is left holding the bag. And hopefully that's not you, but take heart. There is still an opportunity here on Tesla. And what we need to look at is what has happened in the past during October, because from a seasonal perspective, Tesla struggles in October. So if we just go back to the past two Octobers, I have this marked out on the chart here for you guys. This was 2024 right here. You could see that the stock dropped quite a bit. And from October 1st until October 24th, we had a percentage decrease of, let's just measure this out, 19.24%. And then we see that following that, on their earnings report, it gapped up and it initiated this run higher where it made a new all-time high here of $488.92. So we saw that weakness come into play in October of 2024. So there's precedent for it. But to give you a second snapshot of what happens in October, let's go back to 2023 and we can see a similar thing. From the highs that were put in here on October 10th down to the lows, we dropped about 27.26%. So we see that the weakness comes into play here in October for Tesla. Now, when it bottomed there, it did make a little bit of a push. It rebounded. It got back to those recent highs. But then you could see this thing just fell off a cliff there. And that's when Tesla was really facing some struggles. But the reason I point this out is because Tesla typically struggles in October. And if we follow the pattern from last year, we could be set up for a run because, again, last year we pulled back, and then off that earnings report, we ran, pulled back again, and then this thing just took off. Now, one of the things that really elevated Tesla last November was his friendship with Donald Trump. And whenever Trump was elected, you saw this massive move. So while we may not get such a massive move this year, there's still an opportunity for this ticker to run here into the end of the year. And those price areas that we want to watch for a pullback are right below, and they are gaps that were created on this recent move up. So the first gap that we're going to want to watch here is at 396.54. So if we can get a pullback into that area, that may be enough for the buyers to step in and then drive this higher. Or if we want to come lower, there's another small little gap down here at 368.89. And if we're able to hit that, then potentially that could give us room higher. Now, a couple other things here to point out on this chart. Tesla consolidated really for a long time from May into the beginning of September, and then broke out off of that Musk news of him repurchasing shares. And we also got a golden cross that occurred right here on September 15th, and that led to the push. Now, keep in mind with the golden cross, after you see it occur on the charts, there's typically a little bit of a pullback. So the weakness that we're getting right now is not something that should just scare us completely away from the stock, because there's a lot of upside potential here with Tesla related to autonomous driving whenever we get to the full self-driving element of Tesla vehicles. And also don't forget about the Optimus robots, which are, as Musk puts it, going to be similar to an iPhone, that everybody's going to have one in their house. They're going to help with dishes, laundry, kids with homework, all those things. The key question is, how far away are these advancements in technology from actually becoming a reality? And that's what we have to pay attention to. And we also had price upgrades. Wedbush, Dan Ives, the biggest Tesla bull out there, raised his price target to 600 on this. So there could be some buying opportunities here. So the way that I will look to play this, I don't have any position currently in Tesla. I really have done just a few day trades here recently, but I'm going to wait for a pullback, and I will be watching these gaps, one at 396.54 and the other at 368.89, as potential opportunities to take this long with either shares or leaps to see if I can capture some of that upside as we head into what is typically the strongest time of the year, November, December, into January, that Santa Claus rally. So while Tesla is showing weakness today off of that buy the rumor, sell the news event, there still could be some upside here. But short term, we probably will see some more weakness. We probably will see some of these gaps get filled. So just be ready for that. And if it comes down to those areas, we potentially could have a long opportunity on Tesla. So that's my take on Tesla. Let me know your thoughts. Will we fill that gap, or is just a blip on the radar and tomorrow we smash higher? Drop that in the comments below, and I will see you back here for the next ticker analysis video. Make it a great day.